Hi!
Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared with my lovely wife,
Hi,
Kara.
our faces aren't in the screen.
Is this recording? Mm-hmm. Of course it is. This is the Civivi Picasso? What is it?
It's not the
Picaro! Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared with my lovely wife, Kara.
Hey guys!
And today we are talking about the Civivi Picaro.
Not the Picasso!
Not the Picasso.
Not the Picasso.
Not the Picasso.
Size comparisons?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just dive right in.
Let's just do it.
Let's do it.
Very big knife. Matches up very good with the CRKT fossil, the large one, as you can see.
Is there a small fossil?
There is a small fossil.
Did not know that.
Yep. And then also very good blade comparison shape to the Buck Marksman. Yeah. Okay. And then next up is another really good size comparison.
Oh, maybe future video.
A couple things on the blade. Maybe a
This
future
is the Spyderco
comparison.
Endura.
I was thinking about between the Marksman or the Endura, but yes, very good size comparison. And then let's get to the video.
Okay. All right, here we are at the review. Let's hit you guys with some materials first. We have G10 scales, steel clip, steel liners, and surprise, surprise, a steel blade, D2 and coated to be exact. I believe that's it.
Heavily milled liners, by the way.
Yeah, I was supposed to say that. I forgot. Okay, let's go on.
Let's get to the good things.
One more thing about the blade really quick, which is also a good thing, is that there is no billboarding for those of you who like a sterile looking blade.
Now, very
words.
tiny D2 right there that you can't see, but it's very tiny and it's right there.
Tiny D.
And it does have the Civivi logo right there that is machined in. It's not a sticker.
All right, hit him with the hardware.
Hardware, T8s all the way around except for the clip. The clip has T6s, but T8s and T8 pivots. I love this blade shape. This is a drop point, hollow ground, D2 coated blade. Very, very awesome. It does have, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about this yet, so I'm not going to, but it's extremely sliced. This thing is a very, very thin blade. I mean, super thin.
Whoa.
If I could even,
it disappeared.
I can't even capture
It's not
it.
even
I can't
there.
catch it. If I capture it, it's gone. So I'm not going to turn it the right way, but it's super thin behind the edge. I'll put down the thickness right, dink, right there.
Don't dink it, then you make me have to pick an exact spot.
I'll do it. Okay. It is a very good drop point, very thin behind the edge. I really, really love this blade shape because you can get, I wish it would just, okay, because the tip points down, so you can get very good tip work done, and it's even though it's a big blade, you know, it's super duper slicey,
Precision.
which a lot of times with a 4-inch blade, you know, you don't get that. So this is definitely a precision cutter.
And really quick, if you guys are wondering why I'm not giving as much of my own opinion, that is just because this knife is absolutely massive, so I can't really carry it that well. Speaking of carrying it, how does it carry in your pocket?
Okay, it carries very good. I mean,
I don't know why I whispered, sorry.
For the size, it carries very good. It has a deep carry clip, so it just carries very good. It's light because of all the milling. A lot more lighter than you would think, and yeah, it carries very
Look how
good.
deep.
I enjoyed carrying it.
Look how deep.
Okay, lanyard placement is secondary to the clip, so it's right there. Bang.
Secondary. All right, what about the action?
Action? Okay, action. Now this thing has the thumb studs and the flipper hole on both sides. So it's kind of ambidextrous in that way, and I'll explain that in a second. But you got your middle finger flick and your thumb flick, which both work very well. This is on phosphor bronze, so this is not on bearings. Now when we first broke it out, it was a little more stiffer than it is now, but the action has only gotten better and better and better. And yeah,
Can we just also take a moment to appreciate the uniqueness of this design? Open the blade. really look at what they did here, guys. How you don't see a whole lot of knives with a thumb stud and a hole.
Yeah, which
and
is really
I mean,
cool.
come on. I wish they would make a smaller version for the size challenged people like me. But for those of you who can handle this, that is awesome.
One thing that's good about it is that you have the thumb stud for the thumb action for when you use your thumb deployment, and then the hole for the middle finger flick.
Because sometimes holes aren't easy to do the thumb, and then vice versa with the other way around.
Exactly.
So, what about your favorite thing, the most important part, lock bar access?
Okay, I don't know if it's the favorite, but it does
You
have good.
love lock bar access.
It does have good lock bar access. You do have jimping on the lock bar, and you can get to it very, very easily. And the drop on it, obviously, it's a phosphor bronze knife, so it's not going to have the best dropping action, but it's not bad. It's pretty smooth. This is a very light blade.
And I've had a lot of phosphor bronze knives with good
Very
action,
light
so.
blade.
All right, well, what about the ergonomics?
All right, the ergos, obviously,
They're
lastly.
awfully awesome.
They are very, very good. It's a big knife.
Taking over my space.
One thing is that it is for the ergos, you could choke up, right? So they did do a decently sized finger choil there, and since it's such a thin blade and you can do the type of work you can do, this thing is kind of like a little big knife. It's very big, right? It's a very long knife, but you can use it in so many positions that you can make it a big knife for all your big jobs, or you can make it smaller and smaller and use it in so many different positions. Now, I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, sometimes we write little tiny notes to guide ourselves through the video so we don't forget points.
We just started doing this, so we're not really so used to doing that.
So the next one says, this is Jared's notes.
No.
Good size stoppin'. Comment down below if you can figure out what that means.
Good size stop pin. It was a stop
stoppin'.
pin. It wasn't stopping, stop
He
pin.
wrote it as one word, stoppin'.
Okay, so it does have a decently sized stop pin, which I do like, good sized stop pins. I hate when I see a knife, especially a big knife with a little tiny stop pin. I'm not saying this is a massive stop pin, but it's a decent sized stop pin for the thin, very light blade.
All right, we are going to move on to the bad, but first, let me come down here.
Come back down here again.
Talk to you guys. Get a little personal.
Let's just go like this.
No, don't mess up my angle.
I was just going to go like this.
No.
I'm not that small. All right.
Anyway, we want to thank you guys who joined our Patreon. For those of you who don't know, we have started a Patreon for Neeves Knives. We have 6 Patreons so far, and we want to set a goal of 20. Once we hit that 20, we will be doing a Patreon-only giveaway. Not to say that we won't still be doing giveaways for the channel, but we just really want to take a moment to thank those of you who have already joined and those of you who may join. We will be linking the Patreon in the description from this video and every video from here on out, so if you're interested in joining, please do.
The 6 Patrons we do have, you know who you are. Thank you very much. We might do a shout out where we throw the names up on the screen on a later video or something, but you know who you are. Thank you so much.
If you're enjoying the content of this video so far, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and maybe even hitting that notification bell. Alright, let's go ahead and move back to the bads here. So, to start with the bads, let's talk about the clip and that G10.
Okay, the clip with the clip, it's not countersunk, which would have been nice. They do have the countersunk screws, but the clip could have been countersunk too. That would have been really nice. So I'm not gonna call it bad as a nitpick, but it could have been. Now the G10 is a little grippy, and what happens is when you're trying to put it in your pocket, it does kind of bite your pants a little bit. So it's nice once you get it in the pocket, but getting in there, it does kind of grip it a little bit. It might be something where you might want to, buffer it out a little bit with some sandpaper. I don't know. To each their own. It might be fine for you. Mine, it bit a little bit, so something to think about.
The next note says long.
Okay, I know this is a long knife, but like I was saying before, even though it's as big as it is, you can use it like a small knife too, but this is going to be a scary knife. You pull it out with some of them people out there, they might scream and run for the hills. It does look like a short sword. That was an exaggeration. All right, I said that. Jimping on the lock bar. The jimping on the lock bar. The lock bar works really good, but when you're in these positions, you do feel it. So not really so much like this. I don't feel it at all like that. But when I'm like this, which sometimes you're gonna do with a nice thin blade like this, and you feel it with your tip of your finger. So not that big of a deal. I'm reaching there. You know, with Civivis, they're done so well. You do have to reach in there and grab some bad things. All right.
What about that flexible blade?
All right, the blade is super thin like we talked about.
Blade.
I don't know if you can see the blade. You probably can't because it's so thin, but you see that there is some flex in that blade because it's so long and thin. But hey, that's what makes it a laser.
All right. The last thing we're going to talk about is the texturing on the scales. Hi. You may notice we're in some different clothes, and that's because we ran out of space on our last video, so let's finish this up. I want to finish talking about the G10 on this knife here. You can see that it's very, very textured. It is G10, but it has somewhat of an FRN, GFN sort of feel to it, which we would consider to be a negative of the knife. It isn't a lightweight FRN feel like a Benchmade bug out. What we found it to be similar to is like an Ontario rat, which is GFN. Now you notice the rat has some textured scales as well. If you listen, they're much smoother than that of the Civivi, which is much more textured, but the overall weight and feel of the material is somewhat similar. So, we wish that it felt a little bit more...
G10-y.
Yeah, G10-y, exactly. But before we wrap this video up, Jared has a question for you guys. If you could leave some answers in the comments, so take it away, Sweet Cheeks.
Okay, so you guys see how this has the double-sided thumb studs and the thumb hole.
Yeah.
But you tend to use the thumb stud for the thumb, and that's what's good about it being there because the hole is better for the middle finger flick. Now, I think it would have been better instead of doing a double-sided thumb stud, just to do a one-sided thumb stud and have a screw on the other side. A lot of knives are like that, Sabenzas, Norsemans, etc. So what you can do is you'll be able to unscrew on this side, and you could flip it over to this side if you were left-handed. Now, I feel like that would be better because when you're middle finger flicking it, even though you can use any part of this hole to middle finger flick, like that was the bottom, you get the most force or the most, power right where that thumb stud is. So basically when you're using it, the thumb stud kind of rides up on your middle finger when you're swinging it up. And it's not that big of a deal, but I feel like it would just be better if it was just on one side, so then I have the thumb stud, and then the middle finger flick, I would have an, more open hole. Yeah, it would still have that little notch there for the screw, but still though, what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think about that. And
is Jared being a nitpicker?
Hey, this is Civivi. You gotta reach in there and grab some stuff if you want some bad stuff.
All right, and now we're gonna reach for the stop button because this video is over.